Hello ladies and gentlemen, PlayAsia supplied me with this copy of this game, so if you want to support me and the channel, use the link in the description to go and buy something, and there's also a coupon code you can use to save a couple of bucks off your order. You'll be helping me out and hopefully you'll be buying something good. Thanks for your support, enjoy the show. Hello ladies and gentlemen, this is Blue Maxima. Death Stranding comes out in like an hour, so let's get this done. This is Eiyuu Senki, the World Conquest. This is well, I'm going to be honest with you, it's a visual novel, but with a neat little smattering of strategy gameplay on top. More or less. I mean, that's more or less all there is to it. I can't really describe it any other way. It's got an interesting history. It came out on PC first, and then it got a sort of sequel, sort of expansion called Eiyuu Senki Gold, which was actually announced for localization like a couple of months ago. This Vita version came out back in like 2014, according to the bottom right corner, and you couldn't get it in English, and a few people asked, and they were basically repelled because, you know, Vita game, niche concept. I think it was about the wrong time for visual novels as well. After the success of things like Steins Gate and the Zero Escape, well, the Zero Escape trilogy was pretty early on, but yeah, after the success of ports of like Steins Gate, this might have stood a better chance, but no. Thankfully though, someone realized that oh, for God's sake. I had a feeling that was going to happen. I've got nothing but unstable cables, hang on. I had a feeling. So, yeah, as I was saying, the people dug into this version and found that it was actually quite similar to the PC version. So they were more or less able to not only port over the English translation from the PC version, which is like 99% complete. You've got pretty much the entire story and the majority of the UI, but they also managed to port in things that weren't in the Vita version, including, to my surprise, a sex scene. That one caught me off guard. But yeah, they actually managed to port that on over. There's only been one so far, actually. From what I've looked up on it about it online, it turns out there isn't actually that much in the way of age content in Eiyuu Senki in general, which is kind of surprising, actually, considering how similar this is to a very familiar game that I played not too long ago, but we'll get to that. So we'll just go have a quick look around first. Please ignore the frame rate counter in the top right just for a little bit. There's a reason why I've left it there. So you got your background music, your sound effects, and your voices. You've got the text options here, and I appreciate that they let you pick these out so neatly. There are also 3 different levels of auto text speed that you can play with at any time, which is actually kind of great. There's also these 3 options up here, but I'd be lying if I said I knew what they did, even after a little bit of explanation. Experimentation, I should say. I'm not entirely sure I've got it right. Although I do believe this one here will automatically skip all text, not just red text, if you set it to all. But that said, we just press the X button, it'll bring us back here because this runs on Japanese. Well, it's on a Japanese Vita, and it's a Japanese game, so it's circle to go in, X to go back. You've got a music gallery. You do also have a art gallery. And yeah, see how that's censored there? It's not actually censored when you get it in the game. Actually, I'm not particularly sure I'm comfortable with putting that up on YouTube. We all know how censor happy they've been recently, so let's just go hit continue. There's really not much else to do other than browse around those menus. So there's no time on the save game, unfortunately. You can see that I'm on turn 38. I've got 18 officers and I'm sitting at 4,000 gold. I have at least 3 hours, probably a little more, but trust me, once you've played this game's initial loop, you really do understand what it is. And it's why I said it's a visual novel with a smattering of strategy, and not strategy with a smattering of visual novel. So let's load it up. So, this is the world map. Please ignore the fact that my cursor just decides to go to the left randomly. I don't know if this is my analog stick playing up or a result of the overclocking I did, because even in the world map here, you can see that it's kind of sketchy, especially when you get over some of the bigger areas here. Like, You got everything from Babylon to Baghdad to Constantinople to Venice to Lisbon. Fucking Lisbon. But yeah, you've got it all over there like that. This is the World Conquest. They weren't kidding. They've got it all over the place. They've even got Australia. And it's actually a pretty nice representation of Australia. Like, what's Alice Springs doing here? It's kind of weird. It's kind of this weird mishmash of historical times because you start out in Japan, because of course, and it's basically still in the middle of the Sengoku period. Then you get over to China and it's in the Sengoku period with like one of the battles that you do to take over a town, to take over a city in China is against the three brothers, Liu Bei, Guan Yu, and Zhang Fei. So yeah, it's this weird mishmash of timelines that they've got going on so they can bring in heroes from basically everywhere. And, well, that's kind of neat. Also, they're all girls, because of course they are. So, but yeah, you've got the world map, and you can scroll around it and click on anything to, like, see things like its background art and all that at your leisure. And I kind of like this here. Like, this almost looks like modern-day Paris, but it's not. But yeah, you can do that for every one of these, which is kind of neat, although the art is not unique between all of them. But you don't really need to do that because the majority of the game can actually be played via the square button menu. So you see down here, you've got your missions, your troops, your IGCs, and your system. You've got your missions, which you can see that there are some shining cities here. That means they've got a mission. And of course, if you go to that particular city, you can access that particular mission. Like I can declare war on India. But if I just hit the square button and go to my missions, you can see that every single mission that I've got available to me is here on this list. So you don't have to worry about scrolling around and looking at every city to see all your missions. You can just do them straight from there. You can also go to your system here. This will bring you to your options. You can save and load at any time, except when you're in battles, which is nice. They do also treat you pretty fairly. So if you end up getting into a battle that you can't win, they will let you actually rewind to the end of the previous turn. So it's actually pretty generous in that regard. You've also got the text backlog. You can also see the full list of cities here. You can sort them however you damn well please, although there's really no need to do that. And you can see where the missions are and how much income they're worth. Doing missions takes up an action point, and when you end your turn, you get all your action points back, and it's a lot like Sengoku Rants, where if you use a troop on a mission, you can't use them for the rest of the turn. In fact, this game basically is Sengoku Rants, without rants in it. That is pretty much the long and the short of it. Everyone's a girl. There's like not men like G3 and a couple of other characters like Oda Nobunaga actually being a guy. They're all girls in this one, which is a little bit odd, except for like odd soldiers and stuff like that, right? But it's the same kind of basic idea. You're trying to conquer the world by attacking neighboring people. You do that by managing your troops. We've got a few troops here, including a lot of historical figures, and if I'm being perfectly honest, I don't know where Benkei is, but Benkei is adorable, so I'll let her get away with it. Yeah, there's Lu Bu. Actually pretty nice. But yeah, you got a lot of historical figures here, including a couple of weird ones that you don't expect, like bloody Marco Polo. The idea is that basically you invade places, they get their own stories all to themselves, and you get to see what their characters are like before they join you for the fight, which is nice. I probably should have showed off what you could do in the troops menu. So, if I go to Marco Polo, for example, she's hurt, she has some missing troops, so I can give her some troops if I like, and I can also use my funds to upgrade other people. So if I want to upgrade Lu Bu, for example, which I do because I'm trying to keep everyone roughly equal, just for now anyway, until I know what's really effective, I can just pound on the troops, and there goes all my money for this turn. That's basically all there is to it. You get money from doing things, from taking over places. If you go to a place, for example, like Yamatai, you can see I get 100 gold from them every turn. You also get them from doing the missions on the side. So it is actually pretty recommended that you go through all the side missions, because that gold will really let you power up all your troops. And that's basically all you do in the troops menu. In the items menu, you've got, well, items. You can drop in an item onto anyone you please. I'm pretty okay, most of mine are already in, except for defense. Who needs defense? I know who needs defense. Oda, no, but none. Oh, great, I have to... Yeah, no, I don't want to remove all my items. I just want to remove, I should probably give that, defense to Oda. Because Oda is a gun troop, and that pretty much means what you would expect. It's quite, what's the word? It means exactly what you expect. It means that she is more or less a glass cannon, so we want to be making sure she has as much of a chance on the battlefield as humanly possible. You also get items via doing things like side missions. And we've already been through the cities menu, there's not much to see here, so let's just go on a mission. There doesn't really seem to be much else to do, so we can go on any mission we please by going and selecting a mission, and it'll give us the requirements there. You can see them right there. So we need to bring along Himiko, easy enough. We also need to bring on enough craftsmanship, I assume that's what that means. And I don't know what SRC stands for, but thankfully over on the right you can see that they've got a very useful set of icons telling you exactly who is good at what. So you can just play around and pick a suitable group of people. But you have to remember that we can't do much with, we can't do anything with these guys until the next turn. I don't know if there's audio here, so I'm just going to act like there is. Let me just hit the auto. Actually, if I put the auto up to maximum speed... Yeah, this is voice acted. Alright, I'm just going to stop for a bit. Oh Lord, capybara alert.
あの人と飲むんは一番の楽しみやさかい。師匠と卵半分こです。じゃあビンケ笑いこそら恥じらいを持て恥じらいを。全員見てくれば上等なんだからな。早くしてくださいよ。ふつつか者ですが。
How has her trust grown? Does someone want to explain this to me? God damn it. Alright, yeah, to be fair, I wasn't expecting that, but also to be fair, I knew there were scenes like that already. It's the hot springs. What did I expect? With that said, that should give you an idea of what they've got going on in this game. It is like... Oh look, another event. Can I put this up to... Hang on, I'll put this to ×2 auto. This doesn't have any voice acting, I can tell, because the text is going through a lot faster. But yeah, that's the kind of stuff the side events get onto. And there are plenty of... Oh look, and I unlocked an extra go to the hot springs mission. Again. Because... Sure, why not? Alright. Leaving that alone for a bit. So, yeah. The game's definitely got that sort of anime tone to it. I will not deny this. It does generally feature that sort of thing. It is serious from time to time when you're overtaking everybody. You know, there is very clearly, like, you know, wartime sort of moods going on. The writing is more serious, but yeah, when it drops back to just examining the characters... It gets silly, it gets funny, but thankfully the writing is high enough quality to make it work in the same way that it does in a game like Utawara Ramono. It's not as thoroughly like well done as that, but I will say that the writing quality is actually pretty enjoyable, and I've been enjoying it, more or less. That seems to be the long and the short of it. All the characters are pretty skin deep, but at the same time, there's so many of them that I don't mind. It doesn't get too stale too quickly. And they've all got that one thing about them which makes them likable. So you got Marco Polo, who has a ridiculous crush on Kublai Khan. You've got Lu Bu, who Kool-Aid means into every wall. Benkei's a cat. Why not? Oda Nobunaga, look at that armor. There's even people like Sun Tzu and Qin Shi Huang, who I get the feeling this is meant to be a historical figure who was famously sick for drinking mercury, because that's kind of her entire plot in this game. And you've got Himiko, who I do not recognize in any way whatsoever. I think she might just be original for this game. And basically her entire plot is she likes you from the very minute you drop from heaven, because that's literally the plot of the game. But yeah, it's more or less just an excuse to get a bunch of people together to do silly things. Cute girls do cute things, the world conquest. That's more or less... That is the long and the short of it. I'm enjoying it though. I am... The writing is high enough quality that... Ooh. Maximum skip. I must detect that I've already seen this, so it's letting me skip it. So I got Zansu Hoshi on my side, and I've declared war on India. So yeah, you get this, you do get, like, these briefings, and... Is she naked there too? God damn it. Yeah, I'm guessing there's system data. I did actually check that cutscene to see if that would actually happen. I'm guessing that it automatically skipped it because I saw that I already seen that cutscene, even though I saved and loaded afterward. Although I loaded and lost the thing afterwards. But yeah, I've lost my action points, and the other enemy now has time to move. So if I end my turn... Oh my god! The editing on this is going to be horrific. I swear to God I didn't do that on purpose. Lovely! I really should have gone like one further turn. Screw it, we're invading Calcutta. So when we invade, we get a sight of what they've got and we get what we've got. And we basically just have to pick our people and put them out on the field. We can have up to 6 people at any one time, which is nice. And we can put them on anywhere on our 3x3 side of the field there. So I'm probably going to need some more strikers because this is going to go badly if I don't. And we'll bring along Himiko as well, just for the healing. So you can see some of their classes here, but their overall class doesn't really matter. It's just the color of the symbol. So you've got your reds, your greens, your blues, and your purples. There's probably more that I haven't seen at this point because I'm not that far into the game technically, but basically they've got a whole rock, paper, scissors thing going on where certain enemies will be weak to certain kinds of attacks. And there are also some other weird things going on every now and again, depending on the troops that you're attacking and defending with. But it's a really simple system. You've got your obvious attack, defense, and speed over there. Let's just go. So we get the start, which is good, because it means I get to explain a few things. So you've got the ability to move one grid space in any direction. You've got the ability to wait, and you've got your attacks. And you can see the range, you can see the area, how much damage it all does. All the usual garbage, right? So all you need to do is pick someone and attack. And you get these sorts of Advanced Wars style cutscenes here, but if I'm being honest, they aren't particularly great. Magic Missile is a ranged attack, which is very good for me. Also, you can do a strike too, huh? I'm trying to get rid of all the greens. The greens are my first target because the greens can way better on their attack range. Reds have less range overall, but they can hit like a truck. But greens can also hit pretty hard, and Oda, as I said, glass cannon. So we do need to be pretty careful about that. That's why I'm trying to take them all out so that they've got as little to work with as possible. Enemies that are damaged do less damage overall. Whew, that stings. Let's just hold the R button. This actually speeds up the animations, as you can see. Oh, I can do a Sumagi no Tachi. Sumugari no Tachi, excuse me. So the more attacks that you do, the more special energy you build. The more attacks that you do, really, the more special energy you build up in the top left there. And once you've built up enough charges, you can use that to do your special attacks. And that's more or less long and the short of the combat system. There are, of course, like things you can do, like status effects and just all the usual stuff, right? We'll use an attack down on these guys so that they can't hurt me anywhere near as badly, hopefully. But yeah, this is more or less long and the short of the combat system. You've seen everything the game has to offer, which is interesting. Ouch. Double ouch. He's dead. That's not great. Well, he's not dead, technically. He's still alive. It's not permadeath, but still, not great to lose part of the, not great to lose part of my attacking force, especially since that costs gold. No, we'll heal up Lancelot. Lancelot's gonna need it. No, we'll move you down so that when you advance... There we go. Yep, that is a long range attack, but thankfully now that we've got no enemies directly in front of us, we can use the advance move, which just brings us closer. And I can fire a rifle shot straight into Dashaka. Stung a bit. Not as much as I would have liked. We'll just finish this off. We won't worry too much about the formalities. There's a 50 turn limit, and if you manage to get everyone out alive, that is a major victory. And we have an event. I'll just put this down. The game is probably going to try and be a little bit more serious right now. Also, the voice acting's pretty good. They all seem like they're putting effort into their roles. It's a little bit weird that the protagonist has no voice acting whatsoever. Like, well, actually, that's a lie. He's got, like, battle cries, but that's about it. I don't mind the idea of having voice acting on the protagonist as long as you can turn it off. And I'm not entirely sure... And I'm not entirely sure why they choose to just remove it. It's always a good idea to have it as an option. The main character is actually a drop-in from the real world, basically. So he actually knows a fair amount about all of these different time periods, but yeah, it's still a bit weird to have them all just mashed together like this. Not to mention everyone's girls, because of course they are. I will say this though, you might have noticed that already, but the text goes off the edge. I imagine this is because this is a limitation of the game's localization. It's still readable in 99% of circumstances. In fact, the one circumstance I found where text has ended up unreadable by accident was during the Hot Springs cutscene. Just, yeah, that's purely by accident. But yeah, this is basically how it goes. I'm just gonna go to the end there. There we go. So yeah, we got another action point, and let's spend that on another Benkei's job. I like Benkei. Let's go talk to Benkei. Doing these side missions also gets you like little improvements on these characters from time to time as well. They might get like new abilities or something along those lines. So let's just pick someone. Actually, can we pick someone who has... No, it's unfortunately going to be... No, hang on. There. I just want to make sure that I've got people free because they do have the ability to strike back. And if they do and I've got nobody to defend it, it's not going to be great. Yeah, it's got light comedy, it's got some seriousness where it needs to be, and I am enjoying it. It is fun. It's really long-winded, but it's also fun, because everything that I've been playing recently is really long-winded. But still, the writing quality is... It's not Utawara Ramono level, but it's still got flavor, it's still got some substance, and it does help all the characters feel more like characters, even though they're relatively surface level at this early point in the game. They're still fun people to hang around and do things with. Especially when you get into their like little personalities and little details they've added to said personalities. Like, Lancelot is like the spy for England in this game, because of course she is, but not only is she kind of useless, she's an absolute glutton, and her battle cry is onigiri, or rice ball, which I like. I actually like it a lot. Little details like that just come circling back through every now and again, and it makes you appreciate just how much work they did, which is a shame that makes the that the strategy gameplay is so lightweight. There are some things you can do, but only early on in this game so far. The only real control I've had over the combat is basically an interactive difficulty setting. Now, if you get one initial conquest, which is of course Japan, but once you get to that, you get the choice of whether you want to invade India, China, or can't remember the name of the third one. It was something else, but you get the choice of invading them, and depending on what order you invade them in, it actually changes the game's difficulty. So if you invade India first, it makes your difficulty go that much higher. I actually decided to invade the second territory first to get a little bit more on the difficulty, and then I went and got, what's it called? Poor cat girls. Never get treated right in these games. It's weird seeing Yoshitsune so straight and narrow, considering how much of a nut everybody else in this game is. Yeah. Trust has grown. Do I get a special ability? I do. She has now gotten Heavy Smash. So, again, always worthwhile to go for those events if you have the manpower and you have the time, because again, you kind of want to be careful, mainly because if you use all your dudes on one turn, the enemy can and will invade, and they do have the ability to invade more than once per turn, so you gotta be careful. They will be more than happy to... There's another edit. There we go. They are invading Calcutta, and what do they got? Same thing as last time. That's not great, mainly because it's not good in the way of variety. Alright, we'll bring out our tanks this time, and our girls in the background, because why not? And might as well bring out Marco Polo. I'm not going to be able to defend against two separate attacks, no matter what way no matter how I feel about it, so let's just go. One other thing I will say about this game is the performance. It's not very good. The frame rate tends to drop pretty badly even in the most basic of battle scenes. Like you can see here that the frame rate in the top left is hovering in the 20s at the best of times, but it often drops below that. For the really fancy special attacks, you'll be lucky to get more than 10 frames a second. And that's where having a hacked Vita comes into play. You need a hacked Vita to play this game translated to begin with. So I did that. I actually do have a copy of this sitting in my cupboard from Play Asia. And that is the reason why this video is sponsored by Play Asia. What does this do? A spear attack that hits 2 squares. Very good. Good night. Alright. But yeah, I do have a copy of this from Play Asia sitting in my cupboard, so I'm not pirating this. I honestly do own a copy. It's just not running off the card, but yeah, there is that's one reason to get the English translation working. And again, outside of the thingo, outside of the sorry, my brain has just gone dead. Outside of the text going out of the speech bubble, it works fine. There's nothing particularly wrong with it. But the second advantage of having this game on a hacked Vita is that you can have plugins, and these plugins are actually pretty useful for some things. So I've actually got this game overclocked at the moment. It's running at faster than it should. If we put it back down to the default frame rate, just for a while, and hold selecting down to close the menu, you can see that the game is actually a fair bit laggier. Like, significantly laggier than it was before. It might not be more obvious until we get into another fight. With that said, I don't plan on doing that. I'm just gonna go and do a, I'll go and do a special thing, because why not? In the mood for a morning bath, I guess. I already have to edit this video ridiculously anyway, so it's not like this will make it any better. Himiko, and we just need another 4 communique there, so... Oh, hang on a minute. I want to get the guy named after me back up to full strength if I can. Close enough. And we'll spend the rest on Marco Polo. There we go. Alright, missions. Yeah, you gotta do that before you actually do anything, otherwise, you know, you might end up sending someone off and you won't be able to heal them up until, like, next turn, which is just, like, slightly annoying, but nothing too particularly bad. I'll put it up to 4 times auto speed just so we can get through it nice and quickly because it's just text. Oh god. No, not again. Please not again. Yep. Holy Jesus, I have to censor that entire screen. Oh god almighty, can I just... Is there a skip button? Is there just a skip everything button? Hang on, I might actually be able to change that. I'm sure you don't need to know what this is like. Wait, did I just go back to the... No, I didn't. So if I hit start now, thank God. Let's just, I'm not against it, it just feels weird. Especially since you're only going to be able to see what I'm actually looking at. Yeah, there we go. At least I get a nice gem for it. Wonder who could use that speed. Anyway, let's go and attack India again. So I can choose either Delhi or Mumbai this time. Where should I go? I'm guessing Gandhara is their capital city, so Delhi it is. Huh. They really like their frontline strikers, don't they? Alright, let's teach them what frontline strikers can really do. I don't want to bring in Oda because they're all close enough to hit basically everywhere at this point, and I am not a fan of this concept, so we'll just have Lubu in the background there. The battles are pretty repetitive. That is another kind of complaint that I have about the game, just because of this and, like... Oh, we don't have the frame rate counter in the top left anymore, but still, it's even laggier than it is without doing the overclock. Although it's not technically an overclock, it's just actually letting the CPU run at a better speed. Well, that one stung. Who was that? 4, 6, and 5? Oh, strange. Yeah, the battles are pretty repetitive, mainly just due to the overall simplicity of just the game in general, really. There's a... Oh. Alright, I'll just take both of them out in one swing then. Not like it matters too much. But yeah, you unlock abilities really slowly due mainly to the whole visual novel thing taking a ridiculous amount of time, and it's going to take even more time if you want to avoid scenes like that. Good lord. I'm still enjoying it though. It's just slow. Kind of a problem for me at the moment, mainly because everything is so bloody slow already. We'll just put the auto on again. Let the audio dialogue play in the background. It is more or less just a visual novel. The strategy gameplay, while decent enough to do the job, isn't very deep. You do get, like, even with, like, on medium difficulty, I'm getting through this with basically no problems. I'm just making sure that I've got enough people nearby to keep the place guarded while also taking over decent amounts of territory, and I'm having no troubles whatsoever. It's not that hard. Even though if I wanted to put up the difficulty and see what the game could really do to me, I haven't quite done that yet. With that said, though, the story is basically not there, just in general. It's more or less just watching these silly woman versions of famous historical figures bounce off each other. The writing is good enough to make that work. And while it is a fair bit anime, it's not exactly easy to recommend to people who aren't exactly a fan of this sort of content, especially since I managed to patch in something where I'm going to have to do a lot of editing to make sure that this video is safe for YouTube. It's still fun. I'm enjoying it. Maybe not enough to recommend it for like the 90-something dollars it would have cost me to import this game had I not been supported by PlayAsia. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. But if you ever get the opportunity, if you're ever in like Japan or something, you see the game and you have a hacked Vita that you can put the fan, well, not even the fan translation patch on, it's the official translation from Fruit Bat Factory. But if you see the opportunity to pick up the game and play it on a hacked Vita and you like just like general anime, lots of weird characters bouncing off each other that aren't particularly deep but are still enjoyable interactions nonetheless, and a strategy style of gameplay that isn't deep but enough to help at least justify the existence of that previously mentioned anime visual novel styling. Honestly, I would recommend it for that. If you've beaten something like Utawara Ramono and Muv-Luv and all that and you're looking for more, this is as good a place to go. They're gathering all their fighting potential in Delhi. Interesting. I wonder what that's about. She's been reading those mystery stories again. Himiko is not very competent as a leader. You take over as leader, which is cool. Oh. So they reconquered it, and now I have to go conquer it again. Now I get to end my turn, and they attack. And there's breasts again. Wonderful. No, they didn't actually attack that time. Okay, they're leaving me alone for once. God forbid. Alright. If we go to troops, we can actually press the square button to fill everyone up, I believe. There we go. And yeah, you can see that the game is still laggy, so we can just put the overclock back on. Although really, I don't think I even really need to, because, well, you've seen pretty much everything there is to see. Simple strategy battle, visual novel segment. Strategy novel battle, visual novel segment. Strategy battle, visual novel segment. That's just how this game goes. There's really not that much else to it, which is why I said it's a visual novel with strategy salt on top. If you like the sound of that, go ahead. If you're looking for something a little bit more deep, go for, say, SD Gundam or Super Robot Wars. Maybe in the reverse order, because SD Gundam is a bit deeper than Super Robot Wars, but yeah, you get the general idea. I'm enjoying it, though. And if you don't mind the probably overwhelming cost to import it, not to mention hacking your Vita to get the Fruit Bat Factory translation on top, go right ahead, in my personal opinion. It's an enjoyable game. This has been Blue Maxima, and I will see you all next time. 45 minutes to Death Stranding.